In Tower Defense Simulator, early game is arguably the most important part of a match. Being able to properly farm when starting off will give you much more cash in a late game, making winning much easier. Better early game towers can help you with this as you defend more waves for less cash. In this video, I go over the 10 best early game towers, reviewing their stats, values, and more. By the way, this ranking was made for fallen mode when playing solo. Certain towers perform better in different game modes, so this list may not apply in every case. Also, I only consider towers that could be placed on the first wave, as otherwise there'd be way too many options to look at.
Before I continue, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to join the Blue Head Mafia. It helps me out a lot and I really appreciate it. Also, if you want to talk to me, suggest videos, or maybe even be in one, consider joining the Blue Head Mafia Discord. It's a great time and I hope to see you there.
Starting off, in 10th place, we have the Demoman. It costs 400 cash to place and has a DPS of 1.45, giving it a value of 3.63 DPS per 1k spent. It deals splash damage, making it a relatively decent option against crowds of enemies. Unfortunately, its slow fire rate and short range causes it to be unable to solo any waves, even if you spend an extra 50 cash upgrading it to level 1. However, it doesn't leak much and is overall an okay option for the early game. It also gets hidden detection at level 4 for a total of 8,400 cash, though that's too expensive to easily get on wave 13 and 15. In 9th place, ahead of the Demoman, we have the normal Crook boss. It costs 450 cash to place and has a DPS of 2.64, giving it a value of 5.87 DPS per 1k spent. Unfortunately, the level 0 Crook boss leaks one enemy on wave 1, but if you upgrade it to level 1 on the next wave, it can solo 6 waves without any leaks, all thanks to the fact that it can now summon units. That's actually really good, being the same length that 3 golden scouts can survive. However, it is incredibly slow and needs a relatively long map to perform well. If your goal is to speedrun, then the normal Crook boss is not a good choice. In 8th place, ahead of the Demoman, we have the Shotgunner. It costs 400 cash to place and has a DPS of 4.78, giving it a value of 11.95 DPS per 1k spent. You can also upgrade it to level 1 for an extra 200 cash, giving it a DPS of 6.64, but a slightly lower value of 11.06 DPS per 1k spent. By itself, with the best targeting, the Shotgunner cannot solo any waves in fallen mode, leaking enemies on wave 1. It struggles largely due to its short range, being only 7 at level 0. However, I want to clarify that the Shotgunner can be a lot stronger in squads and is often used for speedrunning strats. Its pierce damage allows it to deal with crowds of enemies, and having 4 of them allows them to quickly kill the early waves. It also gets hidden detection at level 2 for a total of 1,850 cash. This level has a DPS of 13.27, giving it a value of 7.17 DPS per 1k spent. In 7th place, ahead of the Shotgunner, we have the Soldier. It costs 350 cash to place and has a DPS of 1.79, giving it a value of 5.11 DPS per 1k spent. The level 1 Soldier for 450 cash total can last until wave 4 on fallen mode without any leaks. While it isn't as useful in speedrunning strats as a Shotgunner, it performs better overall in the early game of solo fallen mode. It also gains hidden detection at level 2 for a total of 950 cash. In 6th place, ahead of the Soldier, we have the Sniper. It costs 300 cash to place and has a DPS of 0.89, giving it a value of 2.97 DPS per 1k spent. While that isn't great, it makes up for this with its large range of 26. Since it only costs 300 cash, you can get 2 of them on wave 1. 2 snipers are actually able to survive 3 waves on fallen mode without any leaks. It also gets hidden detection at level 2 for a total of 950 cash. In 5th place, ahead of the Sniper, we have the Ace Pilot. The Ace Pilot costs 500 cash to place and has a DPS of 6.33, giving it a value of 12.66 DPS per 1k spent. That is insane value, however, it is balanced by its poor targeting. The Ace flies in a circular motion, only being able to hit enemies in a small moving range. This causes it to not be attacking all the time and severely hurts its DPS. Because of this, it's best to place it on a curve. By itself, the level 0 Ace Pilot can only beat 1 wave without any leaks. While level 0 is okay, I'd recommend quickly going for level 1 as it only costs 350 extra cash, yet doubles its DPS. Doing so allows it to last all the way until wave 7 without any leaks. Also, for crowd control, level 2 works great as it gains a bomb attack, helping it clear groups of enemies. A level 2 Ace can survive all the way until wave 10 without any leaks, though it does cost a total of 1,100 cash. Also, the Ace can hit flying enemies. Because of this, combined with the fact that its bombs can hit lead enemies, it's commonly used in hardcore early game, as both flying and lead enemies appear in the first couple waves. In 4th place, ahead of the Ace Pilot, we have the Golden Crook boss. It costs 600 cash and has a DPS of 4.23, giving it a value of 7.05 DPS per 1k spent. It can solo up to 4 waves on fallen mode without any leaks, which is pretty solid. However, if you upgrade it to level 1, it can now summon units. These units allow it to solo 8 waves without any leaks. It would likely be able to get even further on some of the incredibly long maps, though that's a bit of an unfair advantage to give. Also, keep in mind, just like the normal Crook boss, this is much slower than the other towers. In 3rd place, ahead of the Golden Crook boss, we have the Golden Soldier. It costs 475 cash to place and 125 cash to get to level 1, allowing you to get a level 1 golden soldier on wave 1. The level 0 golden soldier has a DPS of 3.29, giving it a value of 6.93 DPS per 1k spent. If you get it to level 1, the golden soldier has a DPS of 3.58 for a total of 600 cash, giving it a value of 5.97 DPS per 1k spent. While this is lower value, I'd recommend getting a level 1 golden soldier on wave 1 as it can solo by itself until wave 7 on follow mode. It is also a useful option for hardcore mode as it can detect flying enemies from level 0 and hidden enemies after level 2. In second place, ahead of the golden soldier, we have the golden scout. The golden scout costs 200 cash to place, allowing you to get 3 of them on wave 1. At level 0, it has a DPS of 1.66, giving it a value of 8.3 DPS per 1k spent. 3 golden scouts are able to survive until wave 7 on follow mode without any leaks. While this is the same as the golden soldier, the golden scout has 20% higher value, overall making it more effective as an early game option. It gains hidden detection at level 2, although its value decreases the more you level it, so I'd recommend only really using it for the early game. Regardless, the golden scout is an extremely powerful early game tower. In first place, ahead of the golden scout, we have the gladiator. The gladiator is a short range melee attacking tower which can hit multiple enemies at once. It costs 300 cash to place, allowing you to get 2 of them on wave 1. At level 0, it does 1.98 DPS, although on average, the gladiator will be hitting roughly 2 to 3 enemies, giving it an average DPS of 5.94. That gives it an insane value of 19.8 DPS per 1k spend, which is by far the highest out of any tower on this list. 2 gladiators by themselves can survive until wave 7 without leaking. If you get 3 gladiators for a total of 900 cash, they can survive until wave 10 with hardly any leaks, only leaking 1 heavy on wave 7. That is insanely good, being one of the cheapest options I know to get to wave 10. Not to mention, the gladiator also gains hidden detection at level 1 and gains the warrior's call ability at level 3, which boosts its ability by 35%. It also works great in the late game, with its max level actually having the best value. If you use its ability and assume it hits 3 enemies on average, the level 5 gladiator has a DPS of 318.9 for a total of 11,050 cash, giving it a value of 28.86 DPS per 1k spent. Undeniably, the gladiator is an incredible early game tower, and one of the best towers in general. While the other towers on this list can definitely be great if used properly, I believe the gladiator sits strong at first place. As an honorable mention, I'd like to give the elf camp some credit. 2 elf camps for a total of 600 cash can survive all the way until wave 7 on follow mode. However, it takes incredibly long to kill each wave, making it not an ideal option for speedrunning. It's still interesting though, and I don't think many people know how effective it can be in the early game. With that said, that's the top 10 best early game towers. If you disagree with anything or notice a mistake, let me know in the comments down below. Before I end the video, I'd like to thank Mr. Padino, Related Kidney, Blue Recon God, Sir Lag, Monkey Does TDS, Mr. Autistic Man, Mr. Giggles, Storm, Sniper Mass, Chris Andrew, Drador, Adam, Grow, Dad, Stay Hydrated, Potted Sprout, Luis Alberto, Elixir US, Solox, Rookie, Duolingo's Coming, Nimbus the Wicker, Magyar Dude, The Figure, and JohnJo684 for supporting my content by becoming a channel member. If you'd like to help me out and get some special perks in the meantime, like being my friend on Roblox, consider becoming a channel member today. It helps me out a lot and I really appreciate it. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed, hit that like button and subscribe to join the Blue Head Mafia. My name is CORSO, and I'll see y'all in the next video.